Hello, my name is Lance Cummings, and this video will briefly introduce to you some key steps to analyzing web text in business writing. To begin, we have to understand text in new ways when considering business writing online. It used to be that texts were often defined as alphanumeric text, or printed texts, with letters and numbers. For example, literature classes might analyze novels and short stories. And business writing classes might analyze brochures and pamphlets. But now, in the age of the World Wide Web, social media, and Web 2.0, we have to think of text more broadly. And here's one possible definition. A web text is any combination of text, images, video, or sound that is delivered online for a specific audience with an intended purpose. This is often called a multimodal text, or a text that uses many modes of meaning like sound and images, not just one. This means a text can be anything from a website, Facebook post, YouTube, or even a tweet. There are also many reasons why we would want to analyze web text in business writing. For example, we might want to evaluate our own online presence, how effectively we're communicating our business to online customers. We might want to research new technologies and platforms to improve our business or our marketing. We might want to understand customer interaction better. Or we might even want to research the competition. Now, the key to a good analysis is to go slowly, to really break apart the different texts that you want to analyze, and to think about how the details connect and what kind of things we can use in rhetoric or in business communication to explain how those details work. But in order to communicate a good analysis to a specific audience, you want to make sure you take these steps. First, take your time to observe and notice the many different details or the many different things that are going on in a specific text. No detail is too small. Second, you'll eventually want to make a statement about the most important details that you noticed. And this statement should connect those details to something about rhetoric or something about how business is working in that online environment. Finally, you want to show your audience how that statement is true, picking only the most relevant details to illustrate what you're saying. And it's not just good enough to show the details or to make a statement. You actually have to explain to your audience how those details connect to the statement that you've already made. And finally, it's a good idea to connect your analysis to a broader context, either to other kinds of analysis that you've already made, or to other kinds of texts that are similar to what you're analyzing, or to other things that are going on around the text, or how that text is being connected to other texts online. There are many different ways of contextualizing your analysis. So first, you want to take the time to observe and notice, and this is perhaps the most important step and the one that gets overlooked the most. At this stage of the process, no detail is too small. Even the smallest detail might have some significant meaning or something important to think about when looking at business writing online. Ask, why is that detail there? Every detail in most texts is there on purpose. It's there for a reason. What's going on there? And finally, it's very important to ask, how does it work rhetorically? Because in most cases, analysis is about not what is going on, but how something is working or not working. So let's take the assigned video from Nest Realty as an example. One thing that I noticed in the video was that there were many different uses of text going on throughout the videos, particularly in the background. For example, here you have letters in different fonts in frames. You have different papers or brochures or marketing materials that are highlighted throughout the video. There are signs behind different interviews. For example, this sign here behind the owner. They showed their website. And they showed a glimpse of a map, which was probably hanging on a wall. So Nest Realty really makes a lot of use of text throughout their video, even though the content is focused around the brokers and the owner discussing their business. So now I'm going to make a statement about how they use text in this video. One of many possibilities. For example, Nest Realty uses distinctive and contrasting fonts to project a homey and comfortable ethos. Now, after making my statement, I want to show how that statement is true. And here are some things to think about while you're showing your audience. You want to be as specific as possible. You also want to show the most relevant details. You notice there's many different types of text that I could talk about in the video, but I'm going to pick the most relevant details that support my claim. I don't have to talk about all of them. Consider using quotes. Also consider using images. This is a way of pointing to specific things in the text to make sure your audience sees what you see. So here are two examples that strike me as I think about the statement I just made. Here's their motto, "Live where you love," on the map, and they use a cursive or script font along with a serif font, or a font with feet on the edges of the letters. Also here you see in the sign behind the owner, you see the same motto with contrasting fonts as well. So now that I've shown you the details that I think support the statement I just made, it's important now to explain how those connect. And remember that you need to describe in detail. You also need to somehow connect to design or rhetoric. There's a lens that you're using to analyze these texts that should help us see the text in new ways. And also, don't expect your audience to see what you see. This is why it's important to be specific and to have a good explanation. So here's one possible explanation in my current working analysis. For example, each interview clip with Nest's owner involves a chalkboard-styled sign with the motto, "Live where you love." The words live and love are emphasized with a thicker, bolder, shadowed serif font. Tying these two words together, which differ by only one letter, helps highlight Nest's focus on culture and lifestyle for both clients and brokers. Finally, it's a good idea to try to connect your analysis to some sort of broader context, or the purpose of the text or how it's working in different contexts. For example, a clear purpose of the video was to show potential new brokers the value of having a brokerage like Nest Realty and what they could do for them with their marketing materials. And this is a good reason to highlight a lot of different kinds of text throughout the video. For example, here one of the brokers talks about the value of these materials. She says, "It was important to me to find a brokerage partnership that I could be proud of, one whose brand I could stand behind, one who supported me and helped me grow and manage my business methods. Nest has done all of that by providing me with business planning tools, DVDs, and marketing materials. I have surpassed my goals as a broker every year." Now, doing analysis is rarely a linear process. Once you've gone through these steps, it doesn't mean that you're done. You usually want to find different ways to go deeper. For example, you might do some research. In this particular analysis, I might want to look into different theories about how fonts function in online environments or on marketing materials, or the different kinds of fonts and how they work psychologically with an audience. There's all sorts of things that I could actually research in this area to contribute and deepen my analysis. You might connect to other details. For example, how might this font connect to other parts of the video? For example, the other thing that I noticed in the video is that there's a lot of texture. As you note here behind the sign, there is a wall of bricks. And also here's this image of different frames of all sorts of art and letters on the wall, also creating texture. So I could create a new paragraph that talks about how texture in this video enhances the font's ability to communicate a homey and comfortable ethos. Another way to go deeper is to evaluate the text and talk about how it works or how it's not working. And finally, it's a good idea often to discuss transferability. Sometimes we like to analyze other people's work to see how we might develop some ideas or skills to use in our own text. In my sample analysis, we might talk about how other types of businesses or other types of companies might be able to use font more effectively by following Nest's examples. Okay, in a nutshell, that's how we analyze web text. Now I'm curious what you think are other important details that we might analyze in this video.